Hi everyone, it's Michelle Lightworker here and welcome to another live stream episode of Enlightened Conversations. I must admit, I'm pretty excited today to be sharing space with Vanessa O'Brien, also known as Lady Vee. So let me introduce her to you. Leading a movement of positive change around the world, Lady Vee, or Vanessa, guides introverted women to reclaim their sexiness, reconnect with their bodies, and increase their feminine confidence. She teaches her students how to dissolve self-criticism and improve their romantic relationships so that they get the life that they want and deserve. So today we're actually going to be sharing our energy and our time together to talk about a topic that's very dear to our hearts, which is all about bisexuality, and busting some myths around that and exploring the differences and the similarities of how people might see bisexuality, interpret bisexuality, how they cope with it in their daily life, how they come out. So welcome Lady Vee. It's so lovely to have you on the program.
My pleasure.
I just want to start by saying to everybody how I'm going to be kind of pardoning the puns the whole way through, but how I came to to actually find out about Lady Vee and what she's doing. And for me, it was interesting because, you know, I often get guided when it comes to these kind of shows. I'll just basically spirit pick them up and pop them in my lap and, again, a pun. No, really, like, you know, I literally was, you know, looking on my phone one day and a live stream came up and it was your live stream from the 11th of February. If anybody wants to check out that live stream on Lady Vee's page, and it was on bisexuality. And the thing I loved about it, I tell you, the thing I loved about it so much was that you were walking the dog, Vanessa, like you were walking the dog and you were normalizing the conversation. You weren't sort of being all, I don't know, it was just like, hey, I'm walking the dog and I'm talking about bisexuality. And I loved that because it was such a great approach. A lot of people, you know, won't talk about this in any conversation. And it's just lovely to have seen you, you know, out walking the dog and sharing everything about bisexuality. Like there was so much said about it in such a short period of time. And I just went, oh my God, I want to say that. And I just had to contact you.
Yep, Gary was my inspiration. I just went, I have to walk the dog. Gary's my dog. I love him to death. And I was just like you. I was just inspired. To be all like, you know what? This is part of me. And one of the big things all my friends love about me is that, pardon my language, but I own my shit. Basically, I show up and that's who I am. No apologies about that. And one of the things is that I am bisexual. I'm not hetero. And I just felt inspired. I'm like, you know what? I felt inspired to talk about that. And so I did, sort of thing. So I'm so glad I did because you got to see it. Now we're having this conversation, and from there, I'm hoping it will inspire other people because I know, we'll go into it, of course, like with my own journey of how I discovered how I became to be bisexual, was I all my life, blah, blah, blah. But it's a case of just opening that conversation because so many people will just have those assumptions about things, you know?
Yeah. And I guess for me, I'm bisexual. I identify as bisexual as well. And so much of what you covered were things that I had struggled with, and there was just no one to have a conversation with about them. And I had to work all that stuff out on my own. And so for me, it was really, when I say on my own, I mean with a lot of help from my spiritual team and things like that, because I really don't have what I would consider a huge range of bisexual friends or people around me that, you know, I could even have a conversation with. So for me, it was about I felt a sisterhood with you straight away. I felt I really did. I felt so, and I feel a bit teary kind of, saying this, but it's true. I felt there's so many of us out there, and we are all probably asking ourselves the same thing, and no one's talking about it. So I felt like there was some kind of a shared destiny or something to be able to be advocating it, and I felt safe with you, to be honest. I felt really safe with you, and I honestly, I haven't spent a great deal of time talking about my own bisexuality, because the essence of my sexuality is that I don't think it's relevant, and I shouldn't have to talk about it to be accepted in society. So you know what I mean? So it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? It's like, I don't have to talk about it to be accepted. So, I'll just not talk about it. But then it's like you come upon someone like yourself and you go, well, actually, I really think that it's important to talk about this, because there's probably so many of us doing the same thing, right?
Yeah, and there's struggles, and there's there's people out there are in all sorts of struggles with that sort of thing. And if we don't share, how do they not know they're not alone and they're not isolated in that? Because like you, I was similar with my journey with my bisexuality. YouTube wasn't really around back then. It was in a little small way, but not like it is now. And the conversation wasn't really there for me, just the way I was raised and the people like yourself, people that I'm around and everything like that. And so I just kind of came to it my own self in my own way through my own experiences, which I'm happy for. I do not discount them. I have no regrets whatsoever. I don't believe in having any regrets, to be honest, because every single experience gets you to the point where you're at and sort of thing. So to allow you to know yourself more. So that's how I was floundering around as well. So I'm hoping through this conversation, whatever we talk about, people will be like, oh my God, and not even that, even if they're not searching through their sexuality, because sexuality, as we know, is fluid. It may not stay like this. I might end up going elsewhere with it, but who knows? But some people might be dealing with someone who's come out to them as being bisexual, and they may be trying to understand as such. So that's the reason why I shared it, because I know keeping it to myself, I could, and I've got my friends that know, and it's like whatevs, sort of thing. Yeah. But at the same time, I get that if I don't share, how do other people know they're not alone?
Yeah. I was really nervous about sharing it with my friends, because I thought the minute my friends, knew that I was bisexual, they might think I'd try to jump their bones or something, because I've got a lot of girlfriends. But I had this reservation about who I told because of that, because I didn't want them to think I'm going to come onto them or something. It wasn't about that for me. I think I have a broken biter, by the way. Gotcha. I don't have a sense of who's gay, who's bi, who's straight. I just don't even see it. I must be sort of kind of bi blind or something like that. I just don't have a reality on that. But I can say to you that for me, it was very much about how you shared in your stream how you are quite shy when it came to girls. For me, I have a similar thing in a way, kind of. With guys, I could easily flirt on my standing upside down. It was just the easiest bit. The bee's knees, no worries, fine. But then with girls, it was I don't know, I kind of did sort of find that I needed to be, sounds really, really weird, but I needed to be the one initiating. I had to actually know first that they would be interested. So I had to be in an environment that I knew that was on the table in some way, shape or form, in a girls' club or something like that. I actually, and then I was fine. And then I could actually go, okay, but I'm kind of I'm the man. I'm the one who's doing the hunt or the chase or I'm the one choosing. So it was kind of being, but I still identified as a lipstick bisexual girl. I'm not although I'm very much a tomboy, I'd grout bathrooms and do all the, wear my usual uniform is at work when I'm not on live streams, and sometimes when I am on live streams is short tank top. So so blokey in so many ways. But for me, I just found that it was almost like I'm giving myself a turn to be in that more masculine energy when it came to being sexual as well. And I only actually realized that after I watched your live stream, because you were sharing about how you felt shy with girls and flirting, and I thought, shit, yeah, me too. Like, I don't flirt with girls. Like, just say I'm going for my jog or something and a girl smiles at me, like I wouldn't think to myself, oh, she's trying to crack on. I just feel like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I'm shy like that. I won't even think anyone's cracking on. And then, if I was like in a club like that, be like, yeah, I'll look for whoever looks interested, and then I'll crack on. Like, it's kind of like a different energy. What about you? Do you relate to any of that?
Yes, as you said, like I am shy around guys, just because I'll just give a bit of background. In my mid to late 20s, about from 25 to about 27, 8, 9 sort of thing, I was a stripper. So I was in the adult entertainment industry. I was very much around a lot of women in a sexual way, in that sexual energy sort of thing. And so I got to know, that's where it really came to the forefront for me. And that's where I realized, as much as I was confident with guys, because, whatever's easy, girls, I was just sort of like, but is she what's called gay for pay, or is she actually, bisexual? Because that's what it was. Like, some of the girls would just be playing the role of,
I hate that.
Where other girls were genuinely like that, and it was hard for me to tell. So I kind of would just be like, I'd be over here, and if you flirt with me, I'll flirt back. But if you flirt with me, sort of thing. And I find that's the way it is, always been with me, sort of thing, because of pure fact. As much as, no nails, and and that's the key, isn't it? The lesbians say is, other gay girls is, do they have nails? But I just sometimes feel like I'm reading wrong. Because I don't have a lot of experience exclusively with girls. It's just the way life is. It's in that space. But I definitely 1% know I'm 1% bisexual. I'm not bi-curious. I'm not just playing. It's not phase. I 100% can go either sort of thing. But because I haven't really had a lot of female relationships, and there's not a big ass community like here on the Gold Coast. There's a gay community and stuff, but it's not like I can go somewhere and there's going to be a lot of people there, if you know what I mean. It's hard to get that experience. Then I feel confident and it becomes natural, whereas it's easier to do so with guys, because it's just the way society and life set up, sort of thing. It's interesting. It's interesting about the nails thing, because I've been getting my nails done since July last year. I never did before because they always break, but I decided to get them done because because I'm such a tomboy and I break them so often, and I thought, bugger it, I went to Bali and I had a pair oh my God, these are amazing. And so then when I got back, I just kept getting them done. So I didn't even know that. I didn't know that gay people don't get their nails done. Like, I just do whatever I do. And, it's a jokey rule amongst the lesbians, because it's not so much they don't get them done, it's you don't have any, because,
Okay, now I'm with you. Oh my God, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, mine aren't that long.
It's a practicality thing. You can have them done. It's just the length of them. Okay, much more attractive not to have nails. Yeah, gotcha.
But it's interesting, because I look back at my history, and if I have a look at my journey on, being when did I know and all that kind of stuff, I guess I didn't. It kind of fell into it because, I had experiences like normal, like when you're growing up and you're kind of girl, I don't know, have sleepovers and all you're playing with, we're just, I don't know, whatever we're doing, and girls do. Maybe it's not normal, I don't know, but we, there's lots of fun. We had lots of fun and stuff like that. But, it wasn't like I ever identified that I was into girls. I didn't even think about it. I just always knew I liked guys. And then, I had a marriage, had 2 daughters, had a second marriage, and I was in a couple of marriages, and for like back to back, so it was like 11 years. Then I came out of the second marriage, and I was like, I really want to date for a while. Like, I haven't dated for 11 years. Like, that's a long time. So I just decided, and then I don't know, I was on one of those like online dating things, and then I saw that there was a lot of girls saying bi-curious and I'm like, what the hell? What's this thing? I just, and I'm like, what's like, maybe, okay. And then, so then I just opened myself up to the possibility that I could explore that side of myself. But it was, like literally like I didn't plan it, didn't see it coming, didn't lust after it, didn't anything. And then I just gave myself a opportunity to explore that, and heavily identify as bisexual, like ridiculously. So, and then I was, you do, and then going along like in my current marriage, and then having fallen in love with a heterosexual man, you don't stop being bisexual. I loved it when you said that. You were like, you don't stop being bisexual when you're in a relationship. And it's like, I loved you said that. She said that. It's like, absolutely. How many of us think we have to cut that part off from ourselves when we're in a relationship? Lucky for me, my husband knew I was bisexual before I came into a relationship with him, and he accepted that. But we didn't explore anything in that regards till many years into our relationship, until it felt right. So, and we had relationship rules, and I like to say that there are no relationship rules. You make your own. And so, and it doesn't mean that you know what those rules are before you cross the boundaries, because sometimes you make a rule and you go, that just didn't work, let's change that rule. Sure. So, and those have been evolving over the period of our relationship too. Because at the beginning, I wouldn't even contemplate kissing a girl without my partner present. And then it went to, well, if there's someone you like, and then sort of like feel like you want to have a kiss or whatever, to see if it's going to progress into something more that we can all explore, then that's okay. So then it was more, it changed to my partner being present and, that kind of thing. So it was, it's just a bit of a, what do you feel right with, and what sits well with you, or what doesn't, and being okay around all that. Because I felt fine about kissing a girl without my partner present, but I didn't feel fine about the fact that he didn't want me to kiss a girl without him present. So that, you know what I mean? So then, of course, I didn't feel right about it. So it's about having that sort of connection with each other, that you feel you're both solid on the decision of what. Yes.
Basically, you got to have those. If you're in a heterosexual relationship, like man, woman, and the guy, like you said, is hetero himself, because he could be bisexual himself. But all the guys I've dated have been heterosexual guys. And you have to have, first of all, before you go there, you got to know your own boundaries and limitations, sort of thing. Where do you stop, sort of thing, and where are your no-goes and everything. And once you know that, then you get into a relationship and form agreements, and then it's a case of what works for this. And like you said, the agreements can chop and change as you go along, sort of thing, because you could initially, like you said, start with everyone present, must be a threesome, all this sort of stuff. But then the guy might go, right, you can go explore with that girl. Off you go. Scratch that itch, sort of thing, and come back. So because he knows you've got that agreement set up where you're the primary, or what have you, whatever your personal agreements are. But you definitely have to know yourself and your own boundaries and limitations and everything before you go into the relationship and form those agreements, so you can have your own personal boundaries and limitations. Because each person is going to be different. Some people are really, like I call it, bisexual, as in they really got to have a relationship with a man and a woman. Other people, like me, I flow in and out of needing relationships with women, sort of thing. For the longest time before I really claimed that I was actually bisexual, I called myself a heterosexual woman with lesbian tendencies. And
I love that.
because I was all like, it doesn't happen all the time. That I know normally every day I'm fine, but every now and again I just have that itch, I call it. I've got to scratch that itch, and if I don't, then it's not that I disrespect whoever my current partner is, but it's just a case that they can tell that I'm a bit unsettled, sort of thing. And it's just something I get from being with women that I'll never get from men, even the most effeminate man. It's just this deliciousness of women. Women are such beautiful. They're just not sexual, and this is the thing, not just about the sexualization or the objectification of women, like great tits, great ass sort of thing. But outside of that, women are just such delicious creatures, sort of deal. And I love their complexity, and I love the men and what they provide as well, sort of thing. And I can't get it from just one gender, sort of thing. So that's just how I go about it. And because of that, I have my own. Everyone has to have their own personal agreements in relationships and everything.
Yeah. And it's interesting, because you say be clear on what those are before you go in. And I kind of didn't, I had no idea, but I did say to Tony, like, I am, I am. Because he was actually supporting me when I was a single person, like as a friend and / fuck buddy, to explore that side of myself. So I was dating a whole heap of people. I was dating lots of men and women. So he was part of that. He was part of my harem. Sounds bad, but it was great. I totally owned it. I was totally going, no, I want to do this. And I was like, for 2 years, I want to do this. That's how my head was, because I thought I don't want to be in a committed relationship while I want to explore myself like this. So, and I ended up being, energetically, my body couldn't be with anyone else after my heart had made the decision to be with Tony. And so then we were actually quite monogamous for a long time, just because my body wouldn't actually want to be with anyone else. So it was kind of like a moment in time, probably about 4 or 5 years into the relationship, where we went, oh, what's that? Look, I wonder if there's anything in that. So that I think it was, a friend of mine mentioned something around something or other. And then we got back from a trip and we were like, let's have a look at that. I think it was like Red Hot Pie or something, and we were like, we went on to Red Hot Pie. It was like all these, people going, oh, people do this.
Yeah.
So like, it's been an interesting process. So, because that was that. And then it was like, but, now I'm sort of like, oh, no, I'd rather be more organic, or if we met someone together or something happened. But back then it was, you know what I mean? Like, even that has evolved. Yes. It's kind of interesting. But the thing that I love about it is that I was thinking about this the other day, is that the fact that I had freedom around that, freedom to be me in the relationship the whole way along, like whatever that looked like, it felt so much more sexual for me to be in the relationship, because I was not cutting myself off.
Yes.
It opened
That's the big thing. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. You weren't cutting yourself off. That's the key. It's like you weren't going, put that to the side sort of thing. No, it's not important. No, don't worry about it. I don't want to explore that. And then it just kind of, it will sit there and be all like, oi, oi, oi. Just like pulling your hair like an annoying 2-year-old child. Mommy!
Love it.
So I didn't do that myself. I couldn't do it. Sort of thing. Every relationship, after I discovered I was, I definitely went into every relationship saying, look, this is who I am. I may have these needs and blah, blah, blah. If that's not okay with you, we're not going to be able to get along. Basically, life's way too short to, this is my biggest thing. Life's just way too short to deny yourself certain things, and especially deny yourself. Because you're denying yourself. So just randomly, I left the actual hot plate on for something, so I'm going to quickly run with my laptop over and turn it bloody off.
Oh, sure. What did you leave on the oven?
No, the stove.
Oh, the stove. Oh, okay. That's all right.
We're good now.
Getting hot in here.
Oh, yeah, I actually felt it. I'm all like, why is it getting warm?
I love it. Oh, that's great. That's great. I love it. Yeah, I want to have a look at my little list that I wrote. I wrote a little list the other day. What's it like being bi in heterosexual relationships? I kind of feel like for me it's great. For you it's great. I wonder if people that are in denial around bisexuality, if that actually then sort of with the shame or the guilt or the whatever.
That's it.
Because that's going underground.
Actually, it's the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. And because if that's going underground, I reckon that morphs itself into that sort of cheating behaviour as well as like that energetic shutdown as well. I think as we deny ourselves, we then create problems in relationship. I think that's actually what happens. And then I know that gay people have said, oh, you know, beware the bis and all that because they're just cheaters or they'll just steal your partner and things like that. But I feel like if there's more transparency, like in the bi community about being bi, there's less likely for that shit to go down because no one needs to cheat when you're actually being honest about what you're doing, right?
I agree. I totally agree. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's like we get hit from both sides being bisexuals, and if people don't realise this is the struggle we do have, it's kind of the invisible struggle because you don't see it. But there's the gay community, they're great, and they are accepting bisexuals, blah, blah, blah. But then there's this thing within there that's, and it's known where they kind of discriminate against the lesbians do anyway, for me, and because woman to woman, and they do because they sit there and go, you know what, you're not going to stay with me, you're going to leave me for a man. You're going to come break my heart and leave me for a man. And then you got this side where the guys are sitting there going, oh, I don't want to share you. Oh, you know, you're going to leave me for some woman. Oh, how's that going to make me feel like a man? And, you know, this sort of thing going on. Yeah. And you're sitting in the middle going, I'm not going to cheat. But at the same time, if you've got that itch and you do deny it through shame, I feel like it's shame more than guilt, in my opinion, because, you know, just the way society's set up, we shame a lot about sex and sexuality. And so it'll be a bit of shame that, oh, I really liked it when she touched me. Oh, I really liked having that attention from girls. Or if someone kissed a girl, you know, the good old Katy Perry, oh, I kissed a girl and I liked it. Well, you know, that could be how it starts for a lot of women. They kiss a girl and they go, yeah, I actually really liked it, you know, sort of thing. And then they sit there and shame themselves. And because they're thinking, oh, what does my partner think if they're in a hetero relationship with a male, and the partner might be all like, you're my woman, and oh, that's the invisible struggle we have. So unless we can be forthright with ourselves and this is who I am, and yes, I want to explore this, I'm not going to shame it. It's totally okay. It's totally okay for your sexuality to go places and to, you know, flow wherever it flows. That it will turn into the cheating, because eventually you'll be like, well, I really liked kissing that girl and I would really like to do that again, but I can't tell my partner. And
I think there's a lot of power in being honest about your bisexuality in terms of changing society's stereotypes. Like the way we're talking about it right now, it's like, oh God, it makes sense. Imagine if everybody who was bi came out and they weren't cheating because they didn't need to, because they're just being honest about their bisexuality. And then the gay community go, thank you for being transparent about it. I can see that you're, you know, who you are, and maybe understand the struggle, and maybe not choose to be with that person because of that. But they're not going to go, well, you know, you're just bi and you're just a cheater, or you're just bi and you're confused. You know, they just have a bit more compassion about it.
Yes, that's the whole, oh, you just one of these girls that you're just going to play with me. This is for the lesbians. I'm going to be talking more from the lesbian point of view than the bisexual guys, like the gays. But the lesbians, what the conversation there is, and I've seen it on YouTube and elsewhere, is they sit there and they say, bisexuals, are they really real, or are they just girls just wanting to play with girls for a little bit of fun, and that's what they're going to do is break our hearts and leave us. They're not really interested, sort of thing. But what they don't realize is someone like me, I generally, for the longest time before I fell into a heterosexual relationship again, for 2 years, actually, I think, for the last 2 years, I was actually actively looking around and wanting a relationship with a female. And actually, a little open to it still, sort of thing, if it happens. So, it's a case of, I think there is that prejudgment they make, thinking, well, we're just playing with around and we'll leave them eventually for guys, but that's not it. It's like, well, I generally want a relationship with them, like a relationship, not just to have sex with them. That's the thing they think. So that's the struggle. That's the struggle.
I can understand that, because I would say that because I am a woman, and because the only kind of safe place to go to experience, anything to do with getting with another girl or something, would be to go down to like a women's event that was put on by a lesbian club, right? And so there would be a sprinkling of bi people there. But I did see a lot of and feel a lot of like I don't know, it's like unspoken or something. The minute people find out that you're bi, they don't really want to kind of talk to you as much, or you feel this kind of wall come up. And so the open-minded, perhaps I did come across a few women who were in relationships with other women, and because of their relationship status, they were happy to have the other person have an extramarital or relationship, like was totally transparent. And so that worked, and they didn't seem to have the prejudices on bisexuality, because they probably understood what we were going through a bit more, because they had a bit more of an open mind around their own relationship and their own relationship rules. But the ones that I found that were very possessive or very fearful because they'd been cheated on in the past and had a relationship trauma around that, were really, really sensitive to anyone that wasn't completely gay. And so there was, it was this unspoken, I could feel it though. No one was saying to me, oh, just fuck off, you're just bi and we don't want to have anything to do with you. But the energy was, oh yeah, but and then, just gone. And so it isn't as easy navigating if you want to have a relationship with a woman and you're bisexual, or maybe it's the same for men who are bisexual and want to have a relationship with men, and they're looking for a relationship in a gay community of men as well, and they're serious. They really want to have a relationship with a man because they feel really, really want that experience. Like I think you want that experience. It's like, well, there's a real fear around that, and I think there's a real blockage around that for bisexual people at the moment, currently anyway.
And then there's on your flip side, you have most people be like, oh, with the heterosexual man, why would they have a problem with it? Aren't most of them like, oh, yay, threesome, sort of thing? And it's just all like, actually some men do have an issue with it, sort of thing. Yes, there's the men that are like, oh, what, you're bisexual? Oh, yeah, that's no problem for me. And then in their head, they're like, oh, yeah. And, sort of thing. They're picturing some threesome going on in their head, sort of thing. But, that's the other side of the struggle is we get into a relationship with a man and either they want to possess us or they want to put us all through into threesomes. It's just like, oh my gosh, no, I want to have a relationship with you, not a threesome. Maybe we'll explore that down the track, but
exactly. And then like I was in a relationship with my husband, like I'm just trying to think, it was probably about 4 years, and it was easily 4 years. And then when we were even looking to explore anything like this, it was like a minefield to navigate that on a relationship level, on what are our insecurities levels. There was like so many, like, you know, you know, it's not a simple process. So it's not like, yeah, let's all just have a threesome. It's like, well, actually, you know, how there's actual people involved in this, and how do you do that? How do you meet people like that? What's involved? What the whole process of that? Do you go to a swingers club? Or do you go to a place that kind of, it was just like a minefield. So it's not an easy thing supporting your bisexuality in a relationship either, and also for your partner to walk through that process. I think you have to have a lot of love, respect, and compassion for everyone, and that you know what, I did things that made my husband uncomfortable. I didn't even realize it. And so then I found out after the fact, and I would go, oh, really? Okay. I can't even remember what those things were right now, but there was a couple of things and he didn't feel comfortable. I think it was just a place we went to, and I was quite fine because I wasn't really focused. Oh, that's right. I wasn't really focused on like any of the guys there or anything like that, just the girls now, and danced with a few girls, blah, blah, blah. And then, my husband felt quite left out because I was dancing with someone else, and he was, and I know it might seem like a really simple thing, but to him that wasn't okay. I don't really want to watch you dancing with someone else while I'm not involved and included. So for us, we had that boundary of it. It is the three of us, or it's we don't do anything. And so there was that real awakening about what we felt comfortable about, and that always felt better. And another experience I had where it was a couple, and the guys were just watching us. It was just like, it just felt weird. So, he felt weird. My husband felt weird. I felt weird. We all felt weird. So we're not doing that again. So I was like, I think these things need to be talked about, because these are the kinds of things that people are always thinking. It's like, what do you do? Like the actual practicalities of all this, like, how do you do this? Like, how do you walk through it and keep your relationship,
That's the big one. Yes. Respect, everyone's boundaries are respected, la, 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 la. How do we navigate the complexity of that sort of thing and get everyone's needs met? It's a case of people think, oh, it's easy. Threesomes are easy. It's like, no. We're not like every weekend we're going to totally do it sort of thing. No, you've got to see where those boundaries are at, because like you said, he may not have realized he had that boundary until that boundary was right there in his face sort of thing, and then he was like, oh, that's my boundary, and that's an actual thing. Like there's boundaries that can be negotiated that like aren't set, if you know what I mean, and then there's boundaries that are like, no, that's a boundary. It's a thing. So, and this is the thing.
He did have a history of being cheated on, as well. So that, and I didn't want him to feel like that either. So, because I knew he was sensitive about that. So, there was that sort of element of, making sure everyone's really really transparent. But then you get really transparent, and it's like, no, I actually don't feel comfortable with that. So it was like, oh, okay. Whoops. Okay, that's fine. And I think when I say that, like, there's no relationship rules, I mean that we create them, but at the same time, it's like, we kind of have to walk through things before we realize what feels right, what doesn't feel right, that kind of stuff. Hey.
Because like here's one. It's a case of, I went to, I've done the swingers club thing too with a male partner, and it was all fine and dandy and la la la. So then the opportunity came where the couple we played with approached me to be what's called the unicorn, and this is the thing, some people may not be familiar with the term, but I found out, some people were like, a unicorn, what? A unicorn is basically a bisexual woman. A single bisexual woman, because that's a unicorn, because supposedly they aren't that common, because they're usually part of a partnership. And usually the partner has to come along and all this sort of stuff. So in swinger terms, if a male and female couple can find a single bisexual woman that doesn't need her partner there, they're called unicorns. So anyway, I became the unicorn with this couple, and they were interested in me. And I was like, cool, I get to play with the female and the male. I'm cool with that. But then I negotiated with my partner, how would he feel about that? I'm going off without him, having my fun, and then, whatever sort of thing. So yeah, it's a case of not, you definitely said it before, you have to have in my opinion, a really strong foundation of friendship, that really, good bond. And then, because then he'll know that I'm off having fun and that's a playtime thing and that's all it is, and I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. It was just something for me to do, fun and an experience, and I loved it. And that was it. Sort of thing. I'm not like sitting there texting these people going, totally, and all this sort of stuff. But like you said, if they've got a wound, like we've all got love wounds, we all have love wounds. If someone's got a love wound that pops up and it becomes a barrier to it, like I could have gone off, and the love wound for him could have been I'm cheating, sort of thing, but I'm not, but it could have shown up for him. Then that's something you have to work through together and stuff, and determine, where are those rules, sort of thing. And okay, I won't do that, sort of thing, but I might want to do it in the future. How are you feeling about that? And all this sort of stuff. Constant negotiation. But and the thing is too, like I'm with you. You said it a little bit before about you could be in like me with a man, a heterosexual relationship, and whilst I don't stop being bisexual, I do at the same time. Like I can be satisfied with that for the longest time, sort of thing. Sure. And it's like I don't always need to go the other way around. And I'm guessing it's the same for bisexual women in relationship with another woman. They're probably sitting there and just go, look, I'm not interested in dick, right, or the men or whatever for years, and then okay, no, got an itch, this sort of thing, So it's not something that's, it's hard to describe that in a way, isn't it? It's a case of it's just part of your being, and it just doesn't stop. But at the same time, your preferences, your needs, your wants and stuff, they just are wherever they're at, sort of thing, and that's totally okay. And it's totally okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, especially, even just insofar as how much of a creative process I've had, like, over the last 6 months. It's like, oh, my God, I feel satiated with my creativity so much. My sex drive is not as, like, if I had more time on my hands or whatever, it would probably be like a bit more my radar. But for me, it's like, oh my God, I'm so excited about life and my projects and my creativity is my boxes are being ticked already. I don't kind of feel like, I can't wait I'm hanging out for sex. And it's kind of, you go through different periods of time. I believe that where you feel hornier than other times as well, or I don't know, it is what it is, right? As an energetic being. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about as well, because I think we don't really bring this topic up much about our sexuality. But for me, I guess I look at it like, insofar as energetics and that, if I've had a past life as a man, I got to explore women, a lot. And then I come into this life and I'm a woman, but I also, part of this life, have something activated like I did 10 years ago when I fell into bisexuality, then all that comes flooding back. And it's like, where did this come from? Like, how do I even know any of this really? And why does this feel so familiar to me where it never did before? And it's like, some people say you're born with it. I get that and I respect that if you feel that you are. But I also feel like for me, hey, I was born with it, but I didn't even know. It wasn't activated. So what do you think about that? Because I think that's a bit of another little element we don't talk about in society so much.
Yeah, I agree with you. So it's a case of, I don't feel I was born with it. I never felt I was born with it. It's just, it took me 20 odd years before I found out that I kind of was like, this is me, sort of thing. I was very much heterosexual all the other years before that. I had no shame around bisexuality or stuff. It's just didn't get it, wasn't there. Like, it's a good way to explain it is just to explain a bit of my journey, is that I was raised normal, as in like go to a Catholic school and all that sort of stuff. And, I had a mum and dad, heterosexual parents. And so I was raised very hetero sort of things. And so that's all I knew. And that's all I was about for the longest time. My relationships were with strictly men, didn't feel that pull to be with women, not until I was around a lot of women in with the stripping and stuff. So I was around the women, I was around their sexuality and their sexual energies, and I started realizing, oh, I'm getting comfortable with this. I'm getting comfortable with women. And it started exploring that, did have threesomes. So that helped me explore it more and more with those threesomes, exploring different things with the women. So I was all like, no, I feel really comfortable with women in this space sort of thing. And I really is me. But I didn't always feel like that. So yeah, I'm hearing you. It was kind of activated for me as such too. But I've always had the belief, this is just my own personal belief and people can disagree, that sexuality is fluid. So what I am today may not be what I am tomorrow, and what I'm not 20 years from now. I don't know, sort of thing. So because I've heard, you hear those stories, people who, a good example, I saw it on YouTube. Actually, that reminds me, I saw it on YouTube. A bisexual lady, she didn't know she was bisexual. She was lesbian. She identified actually as lesbian. And for the longest time. Then she had an experience and she was actually like, no, with a guy, of course. I was all like, you know what? I think, no, I am. I'm bisexual. So she's the other way. Like a lot of women are most likely like you and me, male, and then discover the female sort of thing. Whereas she was the other way. She was 100% lesbian, identified with that, had an experience and was gone and go, hang on here. No, I'm actually, whilst I am lesbian, but I'm actually bisexual. I enjoy men and women. Sort of thing. So it's interesting that, so yes, I don't think she would have probably identified as herself being born lesbian sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, and this is why I always feel sexuality is fluid, because the pure fact, I don't know if we're born into it so much that we journey into it in a way, like it's just life experiences and stuff. Because some people are lesbian from the outset, or are gay, or are hetero from the outset. No problems. I have no problems with that. And then they might change.
Yeah. And I mean, if I'm looking back at over like past lives and things like that, I've been a man, I've been a woman, I've been a man, a woman, man, woman, man. Obviously that's fluid. So how gender can evolve as well, insofar as I feel like a man, I'm in a woman's body. I feel like a woman, I'm in a man's body. I feel like I'm attracted to men, and I'm a woman. I feel like I'm attracted to men, I'm a man. It's almost like we put sort of like this right and wrong shit all over it. Yes. And for me, it's like it is just what it is at any point in time. I said to my husband, like, when you die, I don't know, I might be in a relationship with a woman if I outlive you, or who knows? I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know if I'll still be attracted to women at that stage in my life. I don't even know.
That's it.
It's like, well, that's it. I am right now, but that's where I am right now. And I have been like that solidly for the last, in my own framework and knowledge and feeling, for at least 10 years. So for me, I can't see that shutting down. But if it ever did, then I wouldn't judge it and just go, oh, well, that's interesting that switched off. But I didn't. It won't be anything that I've done to make it switch off. It would just be interesting that just switched off, and I'm now more. Yeah, so hey, it's a lot simpler not being bisexual. So,
like the lesbian, the gays, and the heterosexuals all have it easy because they go, I'm attracted to this one gender, and that's it. It's like, that's so much easier.
I know. And for all the struggles that they all have, they can't even imagine what it would be like, I don't think, to be bisexual. Because, if they had any idea and how complex it was, then they might have a bit more compassion, really. And I like to say, unless you've walked lifetimes in someone else's shoes, just don't judge them, because you don't know what they've been through. You don't know how many times they've been a man. Just say we're talking about a bisexual man, and just say he's been all his whole lifetimes prior is a woman. That's it. And then he's been born into a man's body. And all these societal norms are imposed upon him about getting married and having kids, being with the woman, surrounded by men who are into women, the whole bit. And being only ever in a lifetimes of being a woman in any other lifetime it would feel rather strange being in a male body to begin with, and then it would feel really strange not being attracted to men, because that's all the experience has been. And it doesn't necessarily mean that person's gay. It just means that that's all their experience has been. So you get me? It's a different framework that we can look at it through. Yeah. It's beyond labels, right? It's totally beyond labels. Do you have to call yourself gay? Do you have to call yourself lesbian? Do I even have to call myself bisexual? But right now, that's where it is. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. It's fluid.
And there's, because people go into that, and we talked about this another time, but the pansexuals and all this sort of stuff. And the only reason why I haven't gone into those labels is because I haven't, well, to be brutally honest, I haven't been around trans men or women a lot. So I've only been around a few, so I don't know if I'm attracted that way. I don't know if I'm attracted to what's called gender fluid people, or, you know, those people that play with the both genders, the one or the other sort of thing, they're both or neither sort of thing. So I haven't really played around with those sort of people, and because of that, I can't 100% say it, but I can 100% say I'm attracted to the gender identity of woman. I'm the gender identity of man. You know, as in, like, if a man with this, you know, everything was standing in front of me, and the woman with everything was standing in front of me, I'd be like hell yeah and hell yeah. Whereas I haven't explored the other areas, so I can't say. And I, like you said, like, if I do and I end up being okay with it, oh wow, you know. But if I do and I don't, this sort of thing.
Exactly.
It's just like you said, it is what it is. We need to stop. My biggest thing is stop putting shame on ourselves, sort of thing, and that's what shuts us down, is that shaming of ourselves, and sometimes other people, because we shame other people because we can't handle it. Like you said, they don't have that compassion for us because they probably put a little shame on it because they can't handle it, but then they're shutting it down, the possibility of that for other people and possibly themselves. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I know, and it's an interesting thing too, because it's like, you know, we have like these I guess constructs in society where we think you know, if you don't identify with this or with that, then you must be this, and we like to put people in boxes, you know. But I think it's real. But I also think, because you know, when I was a counsellor for many years, clinical counsellor, specialised in multi-addiction recovery, specialised in sex addiction recovery as well, understood how the brain is set up, like as an arousal map. What we're attracted to is usually set up from childhood. However, I would say, I would take it now, being the, you know, person I am, would say I take that back to back to past lifetimes and things like that. And so we don't have any control over that. That's just our experience that we're born in with, but it doesn't mean it's a be all and end all. Our brain, it is wired to, it basically wires itself to be attracted to certain things that we have had experience with that connected us with our sexual arousal. So a good example that one of my teachers said to us was, like, you know, just say for instance golden showers, where people get turned on by urinating. It could be like a 7-year-old boy's watching someone pee in the bush or whatever his parents or, you know, someone, and he gets an erection, and then all of a sudden his brain associates golden showers with being turned on, and it's not like he had any control over that. For whatever reason, it just happened. And so our brain is kind of wired a certain way, and that's what causes a lot of dysfunction with sex addiction and things like that, which is another topic. But it also means that if we understand neurology and we understand biochemistry in our brain, it's not like we have much of a say in it. It's just the way it's set up. And if we shut it down and we, you know, put a shame on top of it, like you were saying, it doesn't actually help. It doesn't actually go away. It doesn't actually go away.
Still there.
It's still there. So, you know, it's an incredible topic, and I've really, we're almost out of time. I've really enjoyed this. Scott, our hour has gone by so quickly. Oh my God. But tell everybody where they can find you, any workshops you've got coming up, any classes, you know, the whole 9 yards, sweetheart, so people know where they can find you.
All right. So pretty much right now, I'm exploring Tantra. I've just recently not fell into that, but it's been activated in my own personal journey. So I'm starting to explore tantric massage for men and women. So yeah, I will be talking more about that. I definitely can find me on my Facebook. I'm very big and active on my Facebook. So you can easily find my Facebook either as the whole thing, it's Lady Vee Stripper Like Confidence, or else you can find it at Lady Vee Official. You can type that in the search bar and you'll find me. But I'm really active on Facebook with everything, because I'm trying to do some live stream, what I call vlogs, where, like, as you saw, I'll get up and I'll talk about some topic or whatever. And so I'm quite welcoming people to follow me on that now, because I just want to see where people are at and what people's feelings are for things, and just to start the conversation about a few things. Because like you saw, I was trying to normalize that, and I've seen, for me, I have a real passion and purpose for, helping to start that conversation with people and help open them up to things and get rid of that shame. Because, I understand we've all got shame about stuff, but just to help us really reconnect to our bodies. So there's various things I'll be doing in that space, but follow me on my Facebook and you'll be able to keep in touch, basically.
Yeah, awesome. And just for everybody listening, it's Lady Vee is VEE. Just so you know, when you're typing it in, it's Lady VEE and then colon and then Stripper Like Confidence, and that's an easy way to find Vanessa. So no, that's awesome, sweetheart. I've really enjoyed it, and I think we've covered a lot of ground. I went through my list of all the things that I wanted to talk about, and I feel like we covered everything. The only thing I don't think we covered was do you make out with your friends? Well, I don't know. I haven't. I've kissed a couple of my friends when I've been a bit drunk, but it wasn't like it was like we were all and whatever.
I know you know.
But it's on the whole, I just don't go after my friends. But what's your view on that? Quickly, I've got like 1 minute to go.
Well, that's okay. Quickly, no, I don't like to cross boundaries. If someone's my friend, they're my friend, sort of thing. So I'm not going to jump your pants just because I'm bisexual.
Interesting thing. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Amazing. All right.
Hey, if you ask, though, if you quickly ask me.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, I'm not going to jump your bones, but if you kind of indicate that you're interested, we might consider it. No, that's good. I like that. Actually, because that sort of comes into that sort of more open-minded framework. But I was just talking to someone before about it and going, I haven't crossed the streams. I haven't wanted to cross the streams. It's kind of interesting, isn't it, that one? Because you don't want to lose them as a friend. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things as well. I don't know.
But at the same time, I usually allow it. If the person knows I'm bisexual and they're over open, it's like, you want to explore that? Okay, once again, just like anything else, let's discuss the boundaries and the agreements and all that sort of stuff. So,
All right, my love. Well, thank you so much for sharing your soul and your experience and your enlightenment with us all. It's been absolutely awesome. I've enjoyed every second of it. I'm sure we could just talk for hours, to be honest. So thank you again, and lots and lots of love to you. And please, and thanks everyone for joining us, and we look forward to sharing space with you again soon on another live stream. Lots of love to you all. Bye for now.